Who is monitoring your life online? Government, or perhaps there is someone else much more sinister. Let me share a story with you. Recently, I traveled to Spain to do Camino Primitivo, which basically it's walking over the mountains in most inhospitable areas in country, Spain. Look, I don't know language, I don't know the culture, and I don't know the customs. But it's a walk long 321 kilometers and takes about 12 to 14 days to walk. I wasn't alone. I was with a few people who were telling me from day number one this: don't use your card, use the cash. On my question, why? Well, they told me following: government is following all our movements. Like, just a second. Like as if they don't know I just used my passport to come from Australia to Spain. Look, my response in that, despite what we do, how we do, where we go, our lives are available 24/7 online. Not to government alone, but to anyone who has interest in you, your habits, and your life. Do you agree with me? Because being online means one thing: algorithms will hijack your life. Now, let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you checked if what you saw online was actually true? When was the last time? Not emotionally true, not politically true, not something your algorithm wanted you to believe. I mean, objectively true. When was the last time? Because right now, we are witnessing one of the greatest psychological operations in human history. And most people don't even know it's happening. I spent years in war. Years around intelligence operation, years investigating deception, manipulation, propaganda, fraud, human behavior. And I never thought that one of the biggest battles for truth would end up happening inside a mobile phone. A mobile phone. Not on battlefield, not inside government agency, not in a foreign country, but at my own kitchen table in Sydney, watching generations raised by algorithm. Hello, all of you risk takers and truth seekers, and welcome to Live the Battlefield podcast, where we don't just expose scams, we decode deception. For those who don't know me, my name is Bekes. I'm the Guinness World Record holder for the longest audio broadcast. As well, I survived 1,800 consecutive combat days in war, and my background spans in military security, intelligence, diplomatic operations, and decades of high-level investigations and interrogations. And everything I share with you comes from experience, not the theory. I prefer to talk about facts, not opinions. And today's episode is not about politics. It's not about blaming young people. And it's definitely not another old man complaining about phones. This episode is about something far more dangerous. And that is collapse of critical thinking. Yes, you heard me correctly. Critical thinking. And how algorithms are quietly reshaping the minds of entire generation. For those who don't know, I'm the father of a 23-year-old son. He's a smart kid, he's articulate, driven, good heart. Sometimes he pisses me off, but like most young people today, he lives online. Not to part-time, full-time. And watching his generation consume information has become one of the most fascinating and confronting things I personally ever witnessed. Because we are now living through bizarre historical paradox. Generation Z, the most digitally connected generation in human history, is also becoming one of the most vulnerable to misinformation. Think about that. Think about that. These are young people literally born with the smartphones. I know this is not smartphone, this is for my light. But they're born with the smartphones. Generation Z is born with the smartphones, raised with technology, and guess what? Surrounded by information. Not as I was born and surrounded information. They are literally 24/7 surrounded. And yet many struggle to identify manipulation when it appears directly in front of them. Now you ask yourself the question, why? Because technology gave access to information, but nobody taught them how to verify the truth. And there is a massive difference. As always, I say, in this podcast, facts are over opinions. Let me support what I'm saying to share with you with the fact. Stanford University. There was a group of researchers at Stanford University, and honestly, every parent should hear this. So, researchers show over 3,400 high school students a video online. Video online. The video opened with massive red warning. So, there was massive red warning letters. Democratic election fraud caught on tape. So, in a red warning letters, Democratic election fraud caught on tape. I'm very curious what you think about what elections are going to speak about. Then came blurry surveillance footage of people handling ballot boxes. Sounds familiar? Now let me ask you, out of 3,446 students, how many identified the video as misleading? 3,446 students. Three students from 3,446 students. Not 3%, 3 students. That footage was not even from America. It was the old footage connected to election fraud in Russia. And the frightening part, deception could have been exposed in 10 seconds. Boom! Ask yourself how. So you have 3,446 students, 3 identify as a misleading, and only takes 10 seconds to verify that information. A simple Google search. Ask Dr. Google, the holy grail of the knowledge. That's it. But instead, thousands accepted the framing instantly because it looked real and because it triggered emotion. And that right there is how modern manipulation works. Not through evidence, but through emotional reaction. Here is the dangerous part nobody wants to talk about. Social media algorithms don't care about truth. They care about engagement. In intelligence work, every source gets vetted. Bias, agenda, track record, motivation, credibility, source. That's how serious investigation work. But online, none of that matters anymore. Now, if a video creates outrage, fear, anger, division, or emotional intensity, algorithm will reward you because outrage keeps people watching. And this is where young people get trapped. A teenager watches one video questioning a mainstream narrative. Well, the algorithm notices. Then suddenly they get 3, 5, 6 more videos saying something slightly more extreme. Then 5 more. Then 10 more. And before long, they are no longer exploring information. They are being psychologically conditioned by invisible system. I'm seeing this in real life happening. Young people repeating online theories with absolute confidence. When I ask, did you verify the source? Well, the answer is usual. Well, not, but everybody online says it. So if somebody says online, that's it? Is the truth? Yeah? Well, it's not. There's a lot of talks about misinformation, disinformation. There's a big difference between misinformation and disinformation. And I can talk about this some other time. Those who are interested, I have a couple videos on my playlist. on my podcast. I have several articles where I discuss it on academic way, difference between misinformation and disinformation. But today we're going to talk about misinformation. And misinformation today is not just political. It's everything. Health, money, relationships. Just to name a few. That's just a few to name. Wars. Oh my God. Identity. The business. Everything today is misinformation. After devastating hurricane in America, social media exploded with theories claiming governments were controlling the weather. Yeah, those who remember that recently there was a lot of hurricanes in America. And of course, social media straight away goes with government controls the weather. Geoengineering hurricanes, targeting political groups. Oh, you know what I mean? Straight away, somebody put this online, becomes the truth. To anybody with analytical thinking, that sounds absurd. But to somebody raised inside algorithmic distrust, well, it becomes believable. And then we get ridiculous side of the internet. Teenagers, there's a trend. Teenagers rubbing beef fat on their faces because influencers convince them it's revolutionary skincare. On TikTok. So teenagers believe that's the truth because some other influencers rubbed that in their face. You know, you walk through Sydney now and some kids smell like a barbecue literally because of that. But underneath the comedy, there is a serious point. Experts are losing authority. The scientists lose to the influencers. The doctors lose to the viral TikTok clip. And the investigators lose it to somebody with confidence, lighting, and dramatic music. And guess who is paying the price for this? Society. Literally, society. It pays the price. One of the most fascinating things I observe, it's how many young people fact check. They don't open another browser. They don't cross-reference the source. They open the comment section. Let that sink with you. Comment section. That's because somebody says something online. It doesn't need to be true. Please do the fact checking. At least ask Dr. Google. No. Young people go into comment section. And yes, you're correct. If everybody agrees, it must be true. No, that is not verification. That is psychological reinforcement. Comment section are echo chambers, and algorithms push content to what people are already likely to agree with this. The people mistake repetition for truth. But I want you to hear me very carefully. 1,000 people repeating misinformation will still equal 0 facts. And that's the real danger. We are no longer living in one shared reality. We are living in digital tribes, each consuming its own version of the truth. It's sad. When I was younger, especially through military education, we were taught to verify information relentlessly, particularly when I was working in diplomacy. You need to compare the sources. You need to cross-check facts, question everything, validate claims. Accuracy truly mattered, and don't be caught while you're doing this. But today, people confuse confidence with credibility. And artificial intelligence is about to make this crisis even worse. They say, don't be afraid of the AI, deep fake videos, synthetic voices, fake interviews, AI-generated propaganda. Soon, seeing will no longer mean believing. So what we do, teach our children one powerful skill: lateral reading. The moment you see something shocking online, you should leave the app, open another tab, and investigate that source. Check some independent reporting. Follow evidence, not emotion, because this is no longer just media literacy. This is, my friend, survival. And I understand why young people are struggling. They're born into information war they never asked for. And many parents, many schools, many institutions were not prepared for what was coming. But you, me, we cannot surrender critical thinking to algorithms. We cannot allow lines of code in Silicon Valley to decide what humanity believes is true. To all parents, engage with your children. Challenge them. Teach them how to think, not what to think. And to you, Generation Z, you have access to more information than any generation in human history. But information alone does not create wisdom. Wisdom comes from questioning, from experience, from skepticism, from stepping outside the digital echo chamber, because the truth is not hiding in the comment section. The truth is still out there in the real world. And the moment we stop searching for it is the moment somebody else start controlling it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, share, like and comment. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about algorithms? Do they algorithms hijacking our lives? Thank you for watching.